Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Melanie Mac again. I do say again because I previously made a video about her and the Quarterin when they came out and they basically called the First Descendant Coomer bait, softcore porn, which as I'm sure you're aware, and I'm aware because I've played the game, it's total bullshit. Yes, they put a lot of emphasis on their skins and their character designs. There's nothing wrong with that, and they're not the first game to do this. Now, you may be asking who Melanie Mac is. Melanie Mac is someone who was, up until a few years ago, very much a leftist. She was very pro LGBT. There are rumors out there that her husband or boyfriend or whatever turned gay and left her, so that supposedly is why she's become very much anti-LGBTQ. I don't know. There's other rumors out there about certain things with her too that honestly is very personal to a woman, and I don't want to spread those rumors, so I won't go into that part of it. But she is very okay. There's potentially two things with her. A, she's either hypocritical or she's two-faced and she doesn't care. And people like that to me are just downright evil. And if she is the Christian she claims to be, then she can't be that. And unfortunately, I don't know. Look, I'm Christian. I hate to disparage other Christians, so I'm not going to go that route. But let's look at. You want to know who the real Melanie Mac is? Let's let her tell you with her own words.
You know what I am sick and tired of? Faggots. Can't post anything on social media because somebody's offended with some crayon flag in their bio. Faggots! They got like this furry, tooty, pornography crap. Faggots! Can't even get an email. Because when you get an email from a business, a corporation, whatever, pronouns and the signature. Faggots! You got homos buying children. What kid wants two faggot daddies? Faggots! What happened to the closet? Is the closet just public square now? Faggots! You know what
So there you have it. That's Melanie Mac in a nutshell. And this is the game that caused all of this to really come to light. Well, not the LGBT stuff. I mean, that, as I said, that there's rumors based on why that started being the case with her. But the whole pervertedness in video games, the lust, the sexy characters, this game is what kind of triggered it all with her. Let's take a look at it. And this is for one of their new upcoming character releases. I think with season 2 or 3, maybe. Okay. And there's one other video they released a while back. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I made a video on it as well. Boy, was it. Ooh. All right, hold on. Here it is. All right, I think this is a video.
Rage, money, power, and
Is that softcore porn to you guys? Is that Coomer bait? I mean, look, is it bait? Sure, you could argue that it's bait to get guys into your game. I've always said when it comes to video games, you have to draw your player base's attention first. Get their attention. If you get their attention, if you get their attention, they will look at your game. And if your game is good, they will stick around. I like the First Descendant. I do think there are issues with the game, which is why I don't know how long it's going to be around, right? There are instances where it's lost a lot of its player base. So we'll have to see if they can pull it out. But one thing they did do right is they made their characters appeal to their base. They did that. So the character designs is not the issue with this game. There are other issues that are much higher on the list of why this game isn't doing well than character designs. Character designs ain't even on the list. So, I mean, that's part of the problem. When you look at modern day video games, yeah, I mean, there's a big stereotype going around, or meme, I guess you could call it, where Western AAA video games, they purposely make their women ugly. First Descendant does not have that problem. So this game is what triggered a lot of the issue with her. So she goes on to say, get the perverts out of gaming, and games based on lustful intent lack substance. Now, this is also a woman who's a very big Tomb Raider fan. I mean, obviously you can see in the background of this picture, she's got a Lara Croft there, right? I don't know if she remembers how Lara Croft was actually marketed back in the 90s. I don't even know if she was alive. Was she alive in the 90s? I have no idea. All right, but let's look at some of the marketing that was done back in the 90s for Tomb Raider. All right, as you can see here, these are posters that were in the games, obviously. But look, here's a magazine spread for Tomb Raider. I mean, this is how they marketed her. She was a sex symbol, a sex icon in the 90s and early 2000s. People cosplayed as her. There's a reason why she is so popular, not just because of her games. There's a reason why people cosplay her, because she's a sexy and attractive character that people like. As much as Melanie Mac may hate lust and sexiness in video games and the people who appreciate that, she fails to understand that that's what can drive a lot of video games. Will it make a game successful? No, not on its own. It has to be a good game. But it will make a mediocre game successful. Not a bad game, but if you're a mid game to excellent game and your character designs are great and attractive, look at Marvel Rivals, for example. Their character designs are great and they're fantastic. I also made a video talking about that game. Look, it works. It works. She may not like it, but it works. All right, so Melanie Mac declared she wants to get the perverts out of gaming in reaction to Steam data showing that First Descendant lost over 95% of its peak player counts since it launched 6 months ago. Like I said, the game itself has issues. Character designs and how sexy they are is not one of them. They got more than my fair share of money, I'm afraid to admit. In a post to X, Forbes writer Paul Tassi posted, I didn't mention First Descendant here because I generally sort of forgot about it. But yeah, in 6 months for a live game with ongoing seasons, it's down 95.5% from peak and not much moves the needle. Mac replied to this writing, I lost a lot of followers on this topic, but I'm not afraid to speak against perverts, queer, or straight. So she lost followers because she's being fucking ignorant. She's stupid. She's being a hypocrite, as we just saw with her love for, Lara Croft, right? And then, look, not to mention some of the pictures she posts on her own Twitter feed. She knows what she's doing. She does. Yes, she's not doing like OnlyFans type content, but she knows that there are people who follow her because they find her attractive. She knows what she's doing. And I don't fault her for doing that. What I'm faulting her for is that she's being a hypocrite, or she's just being downright, almost I would say evil, if she's using Christianity as a shield here, but then she does the things that she does. I find that very, I don't like it. I think it's bad. I think it's, like I said, almost evil, right? It makes Christians look bad, right? These are the radical people in any religion that makes that religion look bad. Now, I may have similar concerns and issues with certain groups of people in current day society, but I would not go out of the way to do what she does on social media. I would not disparage them like that. That is not what Jesus or God would want you to do. And I'm not perfect. Lord knows probably, look, I'm very much into the whole lewd and etchy and anime hentai type stuff. And that's not very Christian like either, I'm sure. But I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. No man is except for one person, right? And so anyway, this isn't a Christian video. She goes on to say, queer ideology adds no substance to gaming. And just the same, games based on lustful intent lack substance. Get the perverts out of gaming and just give us good games. I disagree. I think the queer ideology, yes, I agree with that stance because of how they ham-fisted in there. But if you look at Final Fantasy 16, they had a gay character. Dion was his name. He was a badass character. And if you don't know who that character is, here, I'll show you.
By the light, Dion Have you taken leave of your senses? Call off the dragoons at once.
Fear not. The populace will come to no harm at their hands. I am here to save you, Father.
All right, long story short, his father's being manipulated by the queen bitch sitting over there to the king's left. And that kid is not who he appears to be. And Dion knows this. Dion may not know the whole story, but he knows something, right? But anyway, so he goes on, he tries to save his kingdom. Oh, let's see if I can find it.
Darkness hides in the heart of Senbrek. It stems from your wife, the traitorous Annabella.
I've never hated and loved a bad guy so much. She was so great and so well done in this game. You love to hate her. That's how good of a villain she was. Well, she wasn't really a villain, but she was a bitch, and she played it well.
And you know, as well as I, who is responsible for it. A puppet now sits upon the throne, but cut his strings, and the master loses her power.
What?
Dion, you bear steel before your emperor? Guards! Take him!
Uh-oh.
For every citizen who falls, another can be bred. For every home that burns, another can be built. Those were your words. But when the last of your citizens has fallen, and all of their homes have been reduced to ash, what will become of your empire, of its rulers, of your god?
I can sit here and watch this cutscene. It's going to go on too long. And look, you know he was gay because you saw things like this.
You must consider your health.
Man, that's
my
louder.
prince. If a show of force is needed to keep the Dalmex at bay, you may trust in your dragoons.
Forgive me, Terence. Would that you were my master.
So look, I think it could be done well. I really can. The problem is most people today, they don't want to do it well. They want to force an ideology into it with an agenda. They want to ham fist it and shove it into your face. This was done, and they were treated in the game by the people who made the game. They were treated just like everybody else. They weren't given special permissions. They weren't constantly told, hey, look, this person's gay. Hey, look, this person's gay. You know, they didn't also throw in all the other crap that honestly the vast majority of people don't agree with, which is like all these different genders and, non-binary crap. They didn't do that. They didn't ham fist it like, Dragon Age of Veilguard, right? I do think it can be done well if they treat it with certain, I don't know the proper word, respect, I guess. And they respect the gamers and understand who their gaming base is. Because I will admit, most of your gaming base, while they are okay with letting people do what they want to do in their own bedrooms, they don't want to see it. They don't want it to be in their face. And the reason this is becoming a thorn for a lot of people with how Melanie Mac acts is because she initially was on our side and with our pushback against DEI, right? They're replacing male, female with type A, type B. They, put all this, gender, non-binary and trans crap in video games that, like I said, while people may begrudgingly be okay with it, they don't want to see it. They don't want it forced into their face. They don't. I fully believe the vast majority of the United States does not agree with this. They are just too afraid to speak up and say anything about it. So now that she's come out and started doing this, it's causing a lot of problems with the anti-DEI crowd. They don't want to push back against censorship and this forced agenda by one side, just to have it replaced with another version of censorship by another group of people. They don't want that. They want games to be free. They want games to be able to do whatever the game creator wants. And look, while I said that people don't want this other crap thrown in their face, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to make games like that. They just have to understand those games will fail. The vast majority of those games will fail. The only way it won't fail is if you created a game like Baldur's Gate 3. And the difference is Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't in your face. You could choose to do things. You weren't preached to. You weren't talked about the problems with misgendering. You weren't, preached to and talked about non-binary. No, you were just able to play your character however you want. I think they call it player sexual or something like that, right? Is that the current term that these devs are using? So you can do it right. In Baldur's Gate 3, people eat it up. My wife and I, we played the crap out of that game. But we want games to be whatever the creative people behind the game want it to be. And let the game stand and be a success or fail on its own 2 feet. We don't want someone, a third party or people telling you what you can and can't do to a game. Same thing with mods. I don't agree with Nexus mods with they allow certain mods, but they ban other mods. I think that's bullshit. You should just be a site that hosts mods and let people choose which mods they want. Doesn't matter if it offends people or not, right? I mean, she doesn't have a problem with games that have murder and thieving in it, right? You be a thief, go around stealing things, you go around killing people and assassin like Assassin's Creed. I don't see her calling those games out. So this is the hypocrisy I'm talking about. Because if she's going to be against perversion and sexuality in video games because, it goes against her Christian beliefs, well, the Bible says thou shalt not kill. You're not supposed to steal. I mean, I don't see her calling those video games out. She's not doing that. So I don't know where this is coming from with her. And this is the problem I have. It's wrong for her to be two-faced like this, essentially. Melanie also replied to another individual who attempted to imply she's a hypocrite because she enjoys the Tomb Raider games and Lara Croft's character designs. Melanie said Lara Croft wasn't created as Gooner bait. She was a beautiful character who wore hiking gear and kicking butt. She wasn't acting slutty. She looked better artistically too. The modern games have no substance in design or gameplay. Your point does not negate mine. Again, she does not. Maybe she wasn't alive in the 90s. I don't know. I mean, getting old. So a lot of these people were probably born in the early 2000s, right? I have no idea how old she is, right? Maybe she was born right around 99, 2000, and she missed some of the video games during the 90s. They were advertised to boys. They knew the people who were playing the game. They didn't have the viewpoint back then that they do today that women are this large gaming base, so we can't offend them. We have to be careful with how we draw our characters and advertise our characters, right? We can't sexualize them. And even today, I'd be willing to bet that unless you're referring to like mobile gaming, women still aren't a large portion of the gaming base. And the ones I know that are have no problem with the characters being sexually designed or objectified as long as it's done in a tasteful manner. And if it's not, guess what? They just won't play those games. They'll play another game. The vast majority of your player base, I still will argue, is male. So you didn't need to change the way that you did things. It's just, feminism, the movement. It just ruins everything. Don't take my word for it. Ask my wife. So this is the problem people are having with her. This post is what started it all. This right here. Not me. I like attractive characters, but I don't want to play something with naked butts, boobs, or bulges in my face. I'd feel like a total loser playing something like that. Jesus. Okay. Anyway, these are the people we're trying to push back on. So in response to another user where she basically claimed that she thought Melanie didn't like censorship and she fought against censorship, Melanie responded, I'm a Christian. I oppose making female characters look ugly or masculine or changing their body types. I don't advocate for weird gooner games, though. I have a problem with people using that word. It's become very similar to how Democrats or anybody politically, if they don't like the other side with the policy positions they may hold, they'll call you a racist, a Nazi, a transphobe, a homophobe. They'll call you something like that, right? And that's essentially what Gooner has become. If someone doesn't like something, and you see this with anime too, If someone doesn't like a way a character designed, but other people do, then the person who doesn't like that design will go around calling everybody either a P or a gooner, right? But that's the problem. And they throw these words around so much that it loses its meaning. It means nothing nowadays. That's their go-to. However, Mac also refuted accusations that she was calling for games to be censored, which she is. If she wants these people supposedly out of the game industry, she doesn't want these games to be made, that there's no other way to view that other than to say she wants the gaming industry to be censored. Just her version of censorship, not the other way of censorship like the current left and activists in the gaming industry are currently trying to do. So Mac responded with, neither myself nor Sickly said we had to censor these games. The problem is that some of these big accounts are pretending like all of us on the anti-woke side want pervy games with girls and thongs dancing, and Sickly very well stated that that does not reflect all of us, to which I agreed. Some Coomers got mad and made up a fake narrative that for some reason people are running with. She didn't just say she didn't agree. She attacked those games. She said they shouldn't exist. I mean, what do you think she's implying when she says, get the perverts out of gaming and games based on lustful intent lack substance? It's not that she doesn't like the games. And she's like, it would be one thing. She says, you know what? I don't like it. I don't play those games. If you want to play those games, that's fine. That's your choice. It's not for me. That would be fine. Nobody would have issue with her. But that's not what she's doing. She's calling for censorship without directly coming out and using the words. But then when she gets called for it, she's like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm not calling for censorship. That's not what I'm doing. And it is. And she's, you saw the video I showed you of her, right? This is who she is. And this is a very big problem with certain people on the right nowadays. Now that the anti-DEI crowd is winning, at least allegedly, you have these people sensing their opportunity to come out and now try to push their own version of censorship. And we can't let that happen. We don't want that to push the pendulum back towards the other side, right? We don't want that. We don't want to turn people away from the arguments we're trying to make by these people getting in there and essentially poisoning the well. And that's what this is going to do. Our whole point against DEI is that we are arguing for no censorship. Free the creative process. That means video games, that means manga, that means anime, that means TV shows, whatever. As long as it's not illegal and against the law, then they should be free to do what they want. Let it stand and fail or succeed on its own merit. If people want to watch that crap, they'll watch it. If there's enough people watching the crap, then there'll be more of that crap. And if there's not enough, it will fail. I mean, just look at the Acolyte, right? The Acolyte failed. There wasn't enough people watching the Acolyte, and it failed. The same is going to be true for the new Star Wars show. I can't remember what it's called. It's with the kids in space and space on like the Goonies. Anyway, its ratings are even worse than the Acolytes. I don't think there will be another season of it. That's how things should be. If it doesn't succeed, it won't happen anymore. But if it's got enough of a base and the cost of making it isn't that expensive and it returns value and money for you as a creator, then yeah, more of it will continue to be put out there. It doesn't matter if it's a large return on investment or a small return on investment. As long as it's what you're looking for, more of it will be created. And that's the way it should be. Creative freedom should reign on top, obviously. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I mean, this is ridiculous. She's ridiculous. Like I said, I may agree or have concerns with certain things that she has issues with, but I would never act and go about doing things the way that she does. It's ridiculous. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you have problems with people like this? Do you understand where she's coming from, but do you just disagree with the way that she's approaching it? Or do you support her? I mean, maybe you do. And if you do, that's okay. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I just hope you understand why people have issues with the way she's approaching this problem at least the problem as she sees it, right? So anyway, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button on the video, like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will talk to you guys next time.